And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Schmoes Show. Tonight on the Two Schmoes Show, we have movies here and there. Movies, are they good? No one cares. Because Doctor Strange drops, next week.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Neef Missaran, and I'm a Schmo.
I'm Kyle. I'm also a Schmo.
And welcome to the week after Easter, ladies and gentlemen. And Ramadan and Passover, all that was on the same week, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. I'll say though, there is quite a few pretty large releases this week.
Unfortunately.
That are like good though, like outside of the iffy stuff, like actually good stuff. So
well, Mr. Cairo,
I mean, I guess there's a reason they're releasing this week and not next week, you know?
Nobody wants to fucking fight Marvel anymore.
No. Who can blame them? Marvel cleans up.
Marvel is cleaning house, and it's all because the pandemic and Endgame and all the movies that came out last year. It's not a fair fight most of the time.
I'll say this is one of the only weeks that I can remember where right now on Rotten Tomatoes in theaters list, we have 6 movies that are all certified fresh.
Damn.
That's really impressive.
That's rare.
Yeah. We'll have a lot to go over. But don't worry, there's some stinkers. This is just a big week in general. I guess this is like school is starting to get out, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Quite a few of these I've not heard of, but they all have fairly good, for the most part, substantial numbers of audience scores, so figure we might as well just get going in this. This is gonna be a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. Big one. The kind of surprising breakout. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Woo! I'm excited to see this. Oh, sorry?
I am now. I saw trailers for it and was kind of iffy on it, you know?
Okay.
The trailers didn't really sell me.
Okay.
Put it that way. Didn't look bad, but it didn't really tell me what it was going for outside of very broad concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really sold on it, but it is doing remarkably well.
Yes. I think it's because, and this is my own conjecture, I think we are at a point where the oversaturation of reboots and franchises kind of made a hunger for more original movies in cinema. So when you have something genuinely like Everything Everywhere All at Once, that's very unique and stands on its own 2 legs, I think there's more of an acceptance of that now, where people are really wanting to get out of those franchise bubbles.
Yep.
I say as I was just praising Marvel's domination of the box office.
Trying to find a bit better of a synopsis here.
Oh boy.
Okay, so this at least does a little bit. Everything Everywhere All at Once is an American science fiction action film written and directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Main star in it, not really breakout. She's been in a ton already. But Michelle Yeoh has been very much pushed back into God, what she was last in? Very much in the public eye in a way that she hasn't been in a while, I think. But far from her first big hit movie. But Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I've seen abbreviated as what, EEAO, something like that, because it is a mouthful.
Yeah.
When an interdimensional rupture unravels reality, an unlikely hero must channel her newfound powers to fight bizarre and bewildering dangers from the multiverse as the fate of the world hangs in the balance.
Oh, it's Doctor Strange. Hell yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah. But it's doing remarkably well. 97% positive review score. Even the audience score is 92%. Just really, really good.
I've heard nothing but good things about it, and it makes me really want to watch it.
Yep. Nope. It's the kind of movie that a lot of the reviewer types that I follow are giving it their top review scores that they generally don't give out on principle, but they're giving it to this.
Well, now you're just making me want to watch it more.
Mm.
You bastard. Come on now. What else do we have this week?
Okay. The other big sort of blockbustery one that I've heard a lot about is the Northmen.
The Northmen?
Mm-hmm. Which is doing a lot better than I expected from the trailers. It is let me see if their synopsis is better. Not really. Prince Amleth is on the verge of becoming a man when his father is brutally murdered by his uncle, who kidnaps the boy's mother. 2 decades later, Amleth is now a Viking who's on a mission to save his mother, kill his uncle, and avenge his father.
Is this just Viking Lion King?
Kind of. I mean, when you put it that way.
Doesn't it sound like Viking Lion King?
Which I guess is more Viking Hamlet.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Viking Hamlet more than Viking Lion King.
It is Viking Lion King, but they show him get disemboweled by the stampede.
Hell yeah. About time Lion King got more realistic.
Mm-hmm. It's doing a lot better than I expected. From the trailers, it looked to me like it kind of fell into a bit of an awkward middle between fiction and science fiction. Or not fiction. Because it has a lot of like the mysticism elements that you would expect in a period sci-fi piece like this is, but then the tone feels much more like the Vikings TV show, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
And it seemed like an awkward middle ground, but it's doing well enough. 67% audience score. I don't know. It's like not unanimous by any means, but it is overwhelmingly positive.
I mean, film is subjective.
And it also just came out this weekend, so the audience scores are always kind of iffy when it's that new.
Yeah.
An impressive piece of time travel, Eggers succeeds in conjuring up a world governed exclusively by blood feuds and territorial imperatives, and Skarsgård, who helps initiate the production, makes a magnificently realized Amleth. Pretty big cast, all considered. I didn't recognize almost anyone in it, but yeah, Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Ethan Hawke, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy's in like everything nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed, because I was like watching French Dispatch, that Willem Dafoe and Jeffrey Wright are also in like everything nowadays. And I just want to know, who the hell is this amazing agent everybody all of a sudden has, that they can have like just these sweeping years worth of movies and they're all like consistently decent films.
I think for a lot of this, it's just kind of swung back around to the industry, just kind of everyone knowing everything. And when they have projects like this with like a strong director behind it that has the connections already, they can just be like, hey, I want you to do this. And they'll be like, yeah, sure. When and where.
Fair enough.
So they kind of like cut out the bureaucracy a bit. At least with the like the French Dispatch and those much less produced movies, where there's just not as much going on financially behind the scenes. They have a lot more creative control and they can just get the people they want rather than trying to meet some timetable and getting who's available.
Fair enough. Probably a big part of it is the fact that this is purely for the French Dispatch, because I just watched it, is like French Dispatch has very few main characters since it's like very ensemble-esque. So it's probably easier to get like a high profile actor like Jeffrey Wright or Willem Dafoe or even Bill Murray for like only a couple shots and then they're out of the movie for good.
Yep. And I really get that. Like, I think with Bill Murray was there for a lot of it, but you definitely get the feeling that most of the cast wasn't all there at the same time.
Yes.
because it is broken up so much.
We interrupt Viking Hamlet for an on-the-spot review of French Dispatch.
It's good.
Good movie. Solid concept. Need a little cooking time.
Yeah.
What else came out this week?
Okay. Who is making this? I want to check. DreamWorks, a non-Disney movie that isn't doing poorly.
That isn't doing poorly.
Animated. To be clear. The Bad Guys. Action comedy, DreamWorks animation, based on New York Times bestselling book series. A crackerjack criminal crew of animal outlaws are about to attempt their most challenging con yet, becoming model citizens.
Ooh.
Never have there been 5 friends as infamous as the Bad Guys. I'm not going to go through all their names because I don't care. When after years of countless heists and being the world's most wanted villains, the gang is finally caught. Mr. Wolf brokers a deal he has no intention of keeping to save them all from prison. The bad guys will go good. Under the tutelage of their mentor, Professor Marmalade, an arrogant guinea pig, the bad guys set out to fool the world that they've been transformed. Along the way, though, Mr. Wolf begins to suspect that doing good for real may give him what he's always secretly longed for, acceptance. So when a new villain threatens the city, can Wolf persuade the rest of the gang to become the good guys? Question mark.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's very much a family comedy, kids movie, animated thing, but it's doing really well.
Well, I'm glad. You know, animation is kind of in rare supply nowadays, especially because of the damn pandemic.
Yep.
So I'm happy just to see an animated movie in theaters.
I'm glad to see like a not Disney Pixar animated movie that doesn't like immediately look cringeworthy.
Good sir.
Like, because it's an original, like a semi-original. It's based on a book series, but it's not Minions 5.
Minions 5: The Quest for More Money.
I'll give it credit. I'll send you this. This is the poster for it. It does have a nice, clean style to it. It's clearly not like cut and paste animation.
I like their eyes. I like the eyes that they are drawn with. They almost look like hand-drawn eyes on 3D models, which I can get behind. So, speaking of animation, we interrupt this movie because did you hear about the news about Netflix animation?
Not about their animation. Plenty of other Netflix news.
Should we just like have a segment where we just shit on Netflix for a while?
Oh, I would love to. What about their animation though?
So there was like this big statement that came out that they canceled a fuck ton of projects that were like never even gotten off the like rails. Like I was very excited for their animated adaptation of the Bone series, and we 2 years later, out of nowhere, got an announcement. It fucking canceled back in the fall, and no one told us. So,
welcome to Netflix.
Pretty fucking pissed.
What was it? I was listening to a podcast. I'm pretty sure it was Marquez Brownlee's podcast called Waveform.
Okay.
Where they had an extended talk about it, and like, I would suggest if anyone wants to know my thoughts, just watch that because it's pretty much spot on, talking about how Netflix has the problem where no matter if their show has 1 season or 24, they always cancel it abruptly and leave it feel unfinished.
Yeah.
Like even for this one, it didn't even start and they canceled it in a way that makes people feel shitty.
I mean, I am very, very, very upset because I'm a big fan of the Bone series. And I always thought it would translate super well to like television. And Bone is not a short series. It is like, I've got the full series in like one giant book. It's over 1,000 pages of comics. And they could easily squeeze like 5 seasons out of that shit. And that just seems like automatic revenue for them because like their whole business model, correct me if I'm wrong, is about making sure people fucking stay subscribed to Netflix, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not been working.
No, they need to like invest in like long running content.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yo,
Netflix announced, I don't know if they announced it like publicly or as like a part of a shareholders thing, but like for the first time basically since Netflix started, they failed to meet their target for subscribers.
good.
I'm pretty sure the gist of it was that it's not like they haven't lost subscribers yet. I don't think. Let me look that up. But they were like expecting to get somewhere in the range of like 2 to 2.5 uh million new subscribers in
Okay.
this like 2022 Q1 kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they didn't meet that. So
Darn.
let me see. So they did lose subscribers. They lost 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of 2022, which is not like in the scheme of their total number isn't huge. They have still like 200 million subscribers total, so it's point like a tenth of a percent is a blip, but it is the first time that their subscribers actually went down. And in response to that, they have gone for the worst possible options, which is either ads or just charging more again.
Again.
And I feel like there's probably a lot of people who have probably had Netflix for a while and didn't use it that much, but when stuff like Squid Game would come out that would get really big,
Yeah.
they would tune in for that. And then it would just kind of sit in the back burner and they wouldn't like fully use it to the extent that some people would to get their money's worth, so to say. And now that they're hearing this and it's getting so much publicity, I wouldn't be surprised if they see even more losses.
Oh yeah, dude. I think this is the exact opposite of what they needed to happen. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because let's face it, Netflix, by being the originator, definitely set up their own demise in the fact that the content of other people is obviously going to default to like other companies that want to make their own Netflix, like HBO
Yep.
Max,
Yep. Or Disney Plus.
or Disney Plus, or Hulu. So Netflix always knew that once there was other companies in the game, they had to have their own content. And what they have a very fucking hard time of doing is making sure they have quality content that's long running that people will want to stay subscribed for. And it doesn't help that they keep fucking canceling everything if it doesn't do the numbers that they want, like Squid Game numbers. I think Netflix has like this amazing potential to be like an indie house darling, because like they have like Boofu Box, tons of fucking money to do whatever they want, and they could really finance some really cool like indie house experimental shit. But instead, they choose to do 7 seasons of Big Mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was a chance that that could have happened, and it's just past at this point.
Oh yeah, totally. Like the in my dream Netflix world, I wish we would have gotten more BoJack Horsemans than fucking what are they doing now? Like Is It
Wow.
Cake?
God. Apparently, there's people who like. I mean, it's gotten like 7 seasons, so there's clearly some number of people that are actively still watching Big Mouth. But like, holy shit,
I know, dude. Like
is
what the
that
fuck?
just the most unappealing thing I've ever seen?
I don't get
I
it.
just have no desire to ever see that, ever.
And like I'm sure Netflix can still pull out some great hits. Like The Queen's Gambit was really good.
Oh
And
yeah.
Squid Game was overrated, but you know, it's pretty good.
It was very much a breakout.
Yeah. I think the reason Squid Game did so well is because of the whole grand visual stylings that it has. Squid Game has a lot of great like cinematography to it and like good color coordination, which makes it stick
Yep.
out very strongly. However, I think the story is absolute shit. And I don't know. I feel like they could have done like 1 season of Squid Game and it'd be a good limited series, but the fact that they're going to obviously milk it for all it's worth, does not make me feel great about Netflix. I still hold hope for my One Piece live action adaptation, but at this point, I don't think it's going to make it past the first season.
I don't know. I I just want to see them stick with something. I want to see them stick with something unpopular.
Yeah.
Like take something that maybe people aren't liking and just finish it. That's all I want.
Well, that's another problem is like Netflix is so into what's trending that they never think about like what their back catalog is, which is why you get like such a garbage shoot of like absolute bullshit.
Yeah. And then they let themselves lose stuff in their back catalog. Like with Daredevil going back to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's brutal for them.
That's some bullshit on their part. They should not have let that happen.
Yeah.
But I
They
mean,
just
like,
don't have a choice at this point.
yeah.
They definitely shouldn't have, but they got lazy and let themselves get run over by the companies that they're trying to take the place of in the first place.
Yeah. I definitely think the only option they have, in my eyes, is to pull back on greenlighting every fucking idea that they get, hoping they get a hit, and actually taking time to like nurture some shit and like let it like play out. Because what the fuck are you gonna like? You're not gonna have like something like Friends on this anymore unless
No.
you like literally take the time to actually finance 12 seasons of bullshit.
Yep. The big problem that we have though is that anyone who wants to make it's kind of self-defeating because now that we've had Friends, The Office, Seinfeld, and all that kind of stuff, you can't really go back and capture that again without doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
And having it be kind of obvious of what you're doing. And then you're going to get derided for just trying to be something else. You know, it's a double-edged sword in that case. And I don't think that, you know, they just need to, I think, stop not greenlighting everything. It's just the obvious first step. You know, focus on having a strong catalog of stuff that people want to rewatch already. Because that's what you did in the first place, and it really fucking worked. And then only make stuff that actually sounds like things people want to watch. Like, do some fucking market research.
Oh, I'm sure they're doing fucking market research, dude, but their market research is giving them the wrong answers. Like,
sure, yeah.
The base example I want it to be is like Netflix has gone into what I call lowest common denominator Netflix, where they're financing a lot of cheap, easy to make productions. Like, Is It Cake? Which I think is the most ridiculous idea for a TV show. Have you heard of this show?
I haven't, no.
So it is a game show where a bunch of...
Okay, sorry. Just start off the front. My brain is completely rotten. I thought like you're saying like Magic the Gathering. Is it? I was like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, no, like the cake meme.
It's literally the cake meme turned into a game show.
Jeez. All right, let's see this trailer.
God have mercy on your soul, Kyril.
They actually said this show is insane. That's like the equivalent of putting the movie at the end of your
trailer or title.
Yeah. In the title of it, it's like these aren't that convincing either.
Like, who's going to rewatch Is It Cake? Because you already know if it's cake or not.
You can't.
Yeah.
You already know.
You already know. Netflix, hit me up. I will make like 5 good shows for your service. You're greenlighting everything already. Take a chance on me. I know what I'm talking about. You okay over there, son?
I'm just broken, I think. This trailer is so long. Like they're just giving away what I have to imagine is like half of the reveals in the trailer.
Oh no.
Like they've shown at least a dozen of the this is the cake parts. Because yeah, that's all you have.
I'm not sure what quite to make out from this besides like they're just trying so hard to appeal to everybody that they're appealing to no one.
Say the comments are great. It's like the lowest common denominator for sure.
Yes.
Like the people who are just like, I actually like this so much.
Like it's a cute
It's so
idea,
great.
but it like belongs on top of something else because there's not much meat to it.
Gimmicks don't work.
It is a
You have a
gimmick.
gimmick, but you have to have something else along with it that holds up the gimmick, you know?
Yes.
And we're at the point now with these fucking stupid food challenge shows that they just need to stop.
Food
Like,
challenge
okay,
shows
Netflix.
yeah.
Netflix, if you're listening, don't do food challenge shows, okay? Just bring back like hard as fucking nails Iron Chef with like actual best of the best. It's just people making good fucking food.
So
Because it's been so goddamn long since we've had that.
it's
That would probably actually work.
good, sir. They're actually rebooting Iron Chef.
I hope so. I hope it's just not shit.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. I've been on a Iron Chef binge, like the old Japanese one.
Yes, absolutely. Just don't give it a fucking gimmick. It's part of the thing that made like the original ones from like the original series so entertaining was that it's kind of the same way with the Ninja Warrior shit. When
Yeah.
it was the Japanese stuff, it felt way more genuine, even if it wasn't, because of the way that they presented it and the lack of gimmicks that they had. It's just like, yep, this is the thing, this is the people doing it. Go at it. There's no drama. There's no side bullshit. It's just people doing the thing.
It's what
I don't give a
love.
shit if Dana is jealous because Mike baked a better fucking cake. I just care about who actually baked the better fucking cake.
So, after binge watching a lot of fucking Iron Chef,
Yeah.
good sir, I'm convinced you didn't watch enough of that show because there's a one
maybe
point.
not.
There's a couple like rematches where they're like obviously like there's some bad blood between us now because of the last match we had.
Maybe.
That's like the only drama to it, but I do agree with you.
Guess.
America likes to sluttify its content and add too much to it to like make it more savory, I guess. It's just dumb.
Yeah. Okay. So Netflix is in flames.
Yes.
I'm calling it now. Netflix is dead. It's dead. Let's move on.
You heard it here first.
The multi-billion-dollar, 200 million subscriber company is dead.
And if you're not
Other
dead
movies-
Netflix, if you're not dead Netflix, pick us up for like a 2-season package. We will not disappoint.
Yeah.
Pay us up front
I have
in cash.
4
Yes, sir.
more movies they're releasing this week that are good before we get to the chaff. So let's replay these real quick.
Okay. Speed
Which
round.
is like, it's surprising, but I kind of like it.
Let's go.
Okay. The Duke.
Yes.
1961, Kempton Bunton, 60-year-old taxi driver, stole Goya's paint portrait of the Duke of Wellington from the National Gallery in London. It was the first and remains the only theft in the gallery's history. Kempton sent ransom notes saying he would return the painting on condition that the government invested more in care for the elderly. He would return the painting on condition that the government invested more in care for the elderly. He had a long campaign for pensioners to receive free television. What happened next becomes stuff of legend. Only 50 years later did the full story emerge. Kempton had spun a web of lies. The only truth was that he was a good man, determined to change the world and save his marriage. How and why he used the Duke to achieve that is a wonderfully uplifting tale.
Wonderfully uplifting and shit. Hell yeah.
96%, overwhelmingly positive. Audience scores are a bit but there's like less audience reviews than actual critic reviews, so who actually knows?
People are just getting ready for fucking Doctor Strange, and you know it.
It's got Helen Mirren in it, so like immediate 10 out of 10. Let's go. um okay, French foreign language film, 97%. Again, more critic reviews than audience reviews, but what can you do? Celine Sciamma continues to prove herself as one of the most accomplished and unpredictable contemporary French filmmakers with her follow-up to Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Following the death of her beloved grandmother, 8-year-old Nellie accompanies her parents to her mother's childhood home to begin the difficult process of cleaning out its contents. As Nellie explores the house and nearby woods, she is immediately drawn to a neighbor her own age building a treehouse. What follows is a tender tale of childhood grief, memory, and connection.
Hell yeah.
So, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, did that one win, or was it just nominated? I'm almost certain that it was nominated for a bunch of awards. And it won a bunch too. So it won Best Screenplay at Cannes in 2019. Did it get... I'm trying to just skim here because it's a huge number of awards. Doesn't look like it made it quite up to Golden Globes. Nominated for Best Foreign Language Film. There it is. So, renowned director. I guess just filmmaker. But yeah. Doing very well. But, you know, it's in French, so Okay. Marvelous and the Black Hole. Teenage delinquent Maya Chek befriends a surly magician who helps her navigate her inner demons and dysfunctional family with sleight of hand magic. Coming of age comedy touches on unlikely friendships, grief, and finding hope in the darkest moments. So this one is more of an indie film that doesn't seem to be getting a wider release, but has a release date of 2020, so presumably delayed a bunch by the pandemic, or might have had an initial small release and now is just going out into wider release. But again, 85% overwhelmingly positive.
Damn straight.
And the big one, the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yo, they wrote a movie about my life.
Nicolas Cage stars as Nick Cage in the action comedy The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Creatively unfulfilling and facing financial ruin, this fictionalized version of Cage must accept a $1 million offer to attend the birthday of a dangerous superfan played by Pedro Pascal. Things take a wildly unexpected turn when Cage is recruited by a CIA operative and forced to live up to his own legend, channeling his most iconic and beloved on-screen characters in order to save himself and his loved ones. With a career built for this very moment, seminal award-winning actor must take on the role of a lifetime, Nick Cage.
This is such a vanity project, but I love it because it's Nick Cage.
It's great. And it's doing really well. Like, unlike a lot of these dumb stuff he's been in, this one's actually doing well.
I mean, how does this not do well? It's Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage.
And Pedro Pascal's there riding along.
And Pedro Pascal. This is beautiful.
Yeah, this is probably one of like the most glowing reviews they can get for this. Abby Bernstein, writing for Assignment X, gave it a B+. Their synopsis is, it's genuinely fun. Like, that's all you want from Nick Cage playing Nick Cage, is just fun.
I want to know, if he said no to the script, who was going to play him?
Oh, it probably just wouldn't have happened.
I don't know, man. I could like see them like getting like a bad Nicolas Cage impersonator to do it, just for the like the meme.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Let's get into some chaff here.
Oh yeah, there's bullshit also. I forgot movies can be bad.
Movies can be bad. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore.
What's his secret?
He's gay.
No way.
No. Specifically, he was gay with the big bad.
Didn't they already announce that?
Yeah. Who actually knows? This whole thing is contrived to start with. Anyways, Professor Albus Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts magizoologist Newt Scamander, for some fucking reason, to lead an intrepid team of wizards, witches, and one brave muggle baker on a dangerous mission, where they encounter old and new beasts and clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. With the stakes so high, how long can Dumbledore remain on the sidelines? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is currently sitting at a big fat 47.
Woo.
Not as bad as the one that came before it, but also not really good.
Why did they
I highly
decide
recommend-
to do this? Yeah.
Because they wanted a trilogy, so they went and did it. And J.K. Rowling has more money than God at this point. To be fair, I think all of the past movies were profitable. Let's see. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So the first one had a budget of about 200 million and made 800. And the second one had a budget of about 200 million and made 600 million. So both profitable, might as well keep trucking along, even though the second one was just bad.
I mean, they never said they want to make good movies. They just need profitable movies.
True. That's true. Have you seen the second one?
I haven't seen a single one of them.
Have you seen any reviews of them?
Never.
Okay. I highly recommend Cosmonaut.
Okay.
What his name is. I'm gonna look it up here real quick. He did a look back at like all the Harry Potter movies, as well as both of the Fantastic Beast movie, and does a really good job reviewing them. The Cosmonaut Variety Hour. He's looked at both of the Fantastic Beast movies and does a pretty good job of summarizing them and giving his thoughts on them. In particular, showcasing how crazy disjointed the second one is. So, to be clear, the reason that Grindelwald is trying to take control, absolute control, over both the Wizarding world and the Muggle world is because he has seen the future that World War II and the Holocaust will happen, and he's trying to stop that.
What the fuck?
He's the bad guy.
There's like a couple different ways you could like stop that without like taking over a whole bunch of places.
Do you know when they reveal that?
I'm guessing
in the last like 10 minutes of the second movie. It's at the very end. It's like, and yeah, I'm doing all this evil stuff because I want to stop the Holocaust.
I mean...
And then he proceeds to basically try to burn down Paris himself, but don't worry about that.
What you don't know is he just is really racist against the French.
Basically.
I mean, can't he just go and like find Hitler's dad and then just make like a lobotomy spell on him and then boom, no Hitler?
So at this point, Hitler's already been born. So he can just go and kill Hitler.
He could literally go and kill Hitler.
Hitler, unless we're going to get the reveal in this one that Hitler is like actually a powerful wizard or some shit, there's nothing that stops him from just going, finding Hitler, and killing Hitler.
Dude, no. Hitler is Dumbledore. That's his secret. Oh my gosh. Why? So here's the thing.
The whole thing is dumb. So the dumbest thing, in my opinion, is the fact that the magizoologist Newt Scamander is in this at all. In the first one, it makes sense. The whole point is that Redmayne's character, Scamander, is traveling from England to Arizona because one of his magical beasts needs to go there in order to do some like annual thing or like once in a lifetime thing. It's like a phoenix or something, and it has to be at this specific place in order to like just be what its magic thing is. So he has to travel there. And in doing that, he travels across the Atlantic and has a layover in New York while his paperwork is getting processed, and havoc breaks loose. And he ends up having to go and like recollect some of his magic beasts that escaped from him. And in doing so, gets entangled in this larger story that is Grindelwald and this cursed child or fucking whatever the hell it is, like by complete chance.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, he is now just the main character for all of it.
Of
Where
course.
instead, you could just have this guy who has basically no legitimate magical powers. He's not some powerful wizard. He's just a dude who likes animals and wrote a particular book in the Harry Potter universe. That's it. Just sideline him for the second one and put one of the side characters up into the forefront. And the story doesn't change at all, but it makes way more sense that Dumbledore's not sending some fucking nobody to go take out the most powerful wizard of all time.
Nah, dude, you gotta send a nobody. He won't expect it.
They never see it coming.
Like, well, this opens up just such a fucked up thing for me, because, like, am I supposed to believe Hitler, who actively sought out, like, the Ark of the Covenant and, like, all this magical bullshit, in real life, wasn't doing the same thing in the Harry Potter world, and he didn't have, like, a couple wizards in the Nazis?
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, seriously, if they want to, like, make me want to watch these movies, 2 words, Nazi wizards. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be?
Yep.
Yeah.
And in the most tragic turn, they have Ezra Miller as one of their main characters.
Oh, no.
Who, by the way, in the first movie, Ezra Miller's character fucking dies. And then he's back in the second one, and they don't really explain it. He's just there.
Reincarnation spell?
Who knows? But he, like, explodes. And that was kind of the point, is that they were trying to stop that. Grindelwald wanted that to happen, and the good people didn't want that to happen, so they're trying to stop it. And, like, there's this confrontation between Scamander and Grindelwald, and Scamander gets his ass fucking handed to him, and they fail. But then it's just like, no, don't worry about that. He's back now. Okay, sure.
Yay. They gotta sell toys of him somehow,
So,
Kyril.
I don't know. I'm curious. We do have, as mentioned to you, Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore does do a really good job. Jude Law is just a fantastic actor in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see more of that, but I'm sure as hell not going to go pay money to do it.
Don't worry, he'll be on HBO Max pretty soon, bro.
I hope so.
I'm very afraid. My girlfriend is a big Harry Potter fan, and she wants me to like watch these with her, and like I'm so bad they're good way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. None of these movies look absolutely any point of interest in my eyes. Have none.
Of the Fantastic Beasts or the Harry Potter ones?
Fantastic
Or just
Beasts.
in general? Yeah. The first one it genuinely has good parts. It is not outright bad.
Okay.
You know, it did well for a reason. The second one really just rode on the coattails of the first. And like the third one seems to have done slightly better, but not enough to really matter. But yeah, first one for sure is totally fine for watching.
What else do we have?
The other bad movie we have, this one's only notable because it has a 0%.
Go on.
You don't get those too often.
No, you don't.
But this one is called 9 Bullets. A former burlesque dancer turned author discovers a second chance at life and redemption when she risks everything to rescue her young neighbor after he witnesses his parents' murder. Now on the run from the local crime boss, who happens to be her one-time ex, she makes a desperate attempt to get the boy to safety.
So what's this movie about? Like,
Yeah.
it's a movie.
9 critic reviews, all negative.
That doesn't surprise me.
9 Bullets is a bewildering jumble of murder, contrived relationship drama, and an antagonizingly foolish road trip. The script fails to establish realistic tension or a believable connection with the leads.
But tell me how you really feel.
Written and directed by Gigi Gaston, 9 Bullets is a tough watch from beginning to end, despite Lena Headey putting in her best effort to elevate it. That seems to be pretty repeated through it. Decent performance by Lena Headey, committed performance by versatile Lena Headey, but the rest of the movie is just so bad it can't make up for it.
Not too surprising.
Yeah.
So what else do we have to talk about today?
Okay. Let's talk about the Flash real quick. And by the Flash, I mean Ezra Miller, who has been arrested again for under charges of assault for allegedly throwing a chair at a woman's head in Hawaii. It seems to be his thing. He keeps going back to Hawaii and he keeps committing assault.
Why Hawaii? I just want to know.
I don't know. He doesn't live there. I mean, maybe he lives there, but he wasn't born there. It's not like he's from there. It's weird.
I'm just thinking of like all the stupid things he do. Like maybe he just doesn't like the tourism in Hawaii, or
Oh my god. Came on the same day that Miller appeared via Zoom in a high-low courtroom to plead no contest to a disorderly conduct charge which stemmed from an incident at a karaoke bar last month.
this man is the Flash because he's ruined his career real fast.
Well, I hope for DC that The Flash is already done.
Wasn't there like a Flashpoint movie coming out?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Flashpoint series going on right now.
Oh God.
So far, it's just titled The Flash, scheduled for 2023. But with like everything that they were hinting at in the Justice League, when it kind of has to be Flashpoint, or it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. DC is absolutely in a mess right now. And I hope they get out of this. I really do.
I do too. The Batman was really good.
I mean,
and I want them to come back from that.
yeah. Joker and the Batman are signs that they can change.
Yeah.
I just think they need to trash what they're doing right now. And, you know, it sounds like they're burning everything down and going straight with this new Batman universe.
Which I'm fine with, honestly. What they had before wasn't that good. Thankfully, Batman is successful. Made more than enough to justify continuing with what they were doing at the box office.
Yeah, I kind of rewatched it on HBO Max just to support it.
Mm-hmm. I for sure will be. So hey, here's some good reference for it, okay?
Yes.
It did with $100 million lesser budget more at the box office than Justice League during the tail end of the pandemic.
Oof.
So like that is a really good sign for its hopefully recognition of success internally.
If they don't, I will buy the rights.
I will buy the Batman.
I will buy Robert Pattinson and we will just shoot our own version.
Curious. I'm looking up the filmography of the director for it.
Okay.
He hasn't done a ton.
Matt Reeves?
Yeah.
Didn't he like do just a lot of music videos?
Maybe. I'm not sure. It's not listed in his filmography, if that is the case. But he directed Cloverfield, which is, Cloverfield.
I actually
Directed,
sorry.
yeah.
I
No, go
just
ahead.
rewatched Cloverfield the other day, and that movie held up way better than I expected it to.
Yeah. He directed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes
Okay.
and co-wrote and directed War for the Planet of the Apes, both of which were not like massively successful, but relatively, they weren't failures, and
Enough
they
to be
were,
part of a franchise.
yeah, like it wasn't the best thing ever, but it was totally fine. That only has a like 94%. Seriously? All right, I gotta see this. Is that right? Because I always heard these as just like, yeah, it's fine. But 94%?
Truthfully, I've never cared for the Planet of the
Wow.
Apes movies.
War for the Planet of the Apes has a 94%. Holy shit.
I'm not going to watch it.
I'll have to go back. I'll have to see it. So one thing I'll say is that Andy Serkis
Yeah.
plays the lead in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he is phenomenal at this type of like physical character acting.
Yes, I'll give
I
you
saw
that.
some of the behind the scenes stuff for the Planet of the Apes movies, and he does do a phenomenal job at like taking on the role and making it real. Okay. Last piece that we have here. I want to talk about the Halo show.
Oh, fuck. I forgot that was coming.
Because right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it is at a 69%. Nice, but also not nice because it's not that good. It's so much worse than a 69%. It's bad. So I'll put it this way.
Yes, sir.
Each episode is about 50 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So up through episode 5 now, we have about 250 minutes of showtime. In episode 1, Master Chief, the character from the first person shooter that is barely held together by bits of exposition that justify why you're on the different planets, has a gun in his hand and is shooting it for about the first 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't pick up a gun again until the last 10 minutes of episode 5. In a fucking TV show about a first person shooter, the main character goes almost 4 hours without shooting.
It's whatchamacallit. It's a statement against gun violence, Kyrol.
There's other people shooting. Just different places than where Master Chief is. They have to take Master Chief and send him on this deep introspective journey that no one cares about, while the other people get to go do the action stuff that you also don't care about because it's a bunch of characters you don't know.
Sounds like they need to get their priorities straight.
This whole thing should have never happened. Not in the state that it is. It is an absolute mess that, at the end of the first episode, like you can keep the first episode exactly how it is.
Okay.
And it would work. Even the second one, you can go like it's slow and it's not good, but you can keep like the first 2 episodes and have it be solid. But at the end of the second episode, they have this whole thing where Master Chief gets back the memories from before he was a Spartan and is starting to piece together his own background and all the fucked up shit that his own people did to him to get to where they are now.
Yes.
And basically runs away from the UNSC to get to that point and goes off with another former Spartan, Soren, looking for help. But at the end of the second episode, he basically just says, you know what? This is a bad thing, and I don't know anybody, so I'm going to just give up and go back to the UNSC.
Mom, pick me up. I'm scared.
Literally. He
That's
actually
sad.
basically does it. He gets back in his ship with his artifact thing, goes back out and is like, hey, I'm here, come get me.
I'm sorry. That's just
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's not good. And then it gets worse. Because I'm actually having to look up here because I can't remember what the hell they did in episode 3. Right. There's a whole side plot in this about what's the fucking character's name?
Yes.
McKee?
McKee. Not sure.
Maki? I don't honestly know. Let me see if I can find if there's like anything more. Character is literally just called McKee. It is a human that is with the Covenant. I don't know who the character is. They don't really tell you who the character is. They don't even really establish that humanoids being with the Covenant is weird, because we only get these like brief 5-minute glances into that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they clearly want you to think that, but there's nothing that sells it. So there's this whole side plot going on where this McKee, who is with this woman with the Covenant, is a human who's like some chosen one who can control the artifact, allegedly, even though she's never touched the fucking thing. But according to the Covenant, she can. And they keep cutting back and forth to her story that no one cares about. Like they're trying to set her up as the villain, I guess?
Okay.
Even though they literally already have that with basically everyone else. But they keep cutting back to these weird shots on this Covenant planet or base or whatever. Then eventually it gets to the point where now in episode 5, she's pretending to have been some hostage that miraculously escaped from the Covenant, and who fucking knows. It's dumb and bad. And the really dumb and bad part, as soon as the Covenant managed to acquire one of the artifacts they're trying to get, at the same time they do that, they dump her off with the UNSC in this espionage thing, even though presumably up to this entire point, the entire focus of them has been to get her and the artifact in the same place. And now they have the chance for that, and they just throw it away. For no reason. Okay. So that's like dumb thing number 3 or 4. The dumbest thing, though, that I think they did is at the start of this, Cortana doesn't exist. And she's introduced in episode 3.
Okay.
And they try to play off this weird dynamic between Master Chief just getting Cortana and Cortana just coming into existence, and is trying to be like this butting head of like the conflicting personalities and stuff. And it's just bad. It is just bad. And it would have been so much better and more impactful to have this relationship between Chief and Cortana established ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chief comes in contact with the artifact, and then his personality changes, and Cortana is allowed to,
React
in response to that. But instead, because they don't fucking know each other, there's just nothing going on. They're just talking at each other, and they're trying to set up this chemistry, but there's like so many things going on already with Chief's character that is like he's literally not a single character. He is changing rapidly as he gets his memories back, and it doesn't work, and it's dumb.
This really sounds like some dude like saw the original Halo plans, like, yeah, I can rewrite that, but better. And
It's better than that. They apparently, in an interview, said that they didn't look at the Halo lore.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but we've seen the result, and it's not good.
No es bueno, mi amigo.
Yeah. So that's kind of where they are now. We have they found Artifact 1, and it gave Chief his memories back. And as he got more memories, that was able to lead them to Artifact 2. but it took them 4 fucking hours to get to that point. Like that was a sentence. It took them 4 hours to do that. So then they get to Artifact 2. They finally manage to excavate it just in time for the Covenant to show up and take it away. And they still haven't, like, actually... No one in this universe is aware of the Halos yet.
Oh, you mean the main thing that everything is named after?
Yes. The thing that the show is, they've said the word Halo because it's in these pictures, but they don't know that it exists. They don't know what it does. They don't know fucking anything. And it's more than halfway done now. So...
Saving that for season 2.
Yeah, apparently. At the end of episode 5, after going 4 hours without any action, and then we finally get action, and it's fine. It could be better. They did this really dumb thing where they kept cutting to, like, an inside, like you know, the Iron Man inside his helmet shots.
Yeah.
They kept doing that, and it was dumb, and it looked really bad.
You're only supposed to do that for Iron Man because Robert Downey Jr.'s face cost a lot of money.
Yep. Nobody gives a shit about Pablo Schreiber. Sorry, Pablo, but we don't fucking care. You're playing a basically nameless, faceless vessel for 14-year-olds to shoot guns in video games. Nobody gives a shit about your character. And given that we've been sitting here at that point for over 4 hours and they've not given me a reason to change that opinion, I just find it distracting. Because they do legitimately have, like, some interesting bits where they clearly try to gamify it a bit. Where they have Chief going through these, like, waves of Covenant and running out of ammo with his guns, so he has to pick up theirs, and it shows off some of the unique ways that the different weapons functionally work.
Okay.
And that's, like, cool. But they can't be satisfied to just have, like, an extended fluid CGI sequence of that happening. They have to keep cutting back to either this in the helmet view of Chief's face as he makes noises and screams kind of unconvincingly in rage. Oh, and the other part of it, I'm gonna see. I gotta find the character's name because I don't fucking know. Kai 125. So, after Chief has started to get his memories back,
okay,
and he has Cortana, and he's basically just, like, becoming, like, a person finally, and he's just like, wait a minute, why don't I feel anything? And Cortana's like, oh, you've got this fucking nugget in the middle of your back that suppresses all your emotions. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna cut that out. Cortana's just like, excuse me? So he cuts it out. Kai sees him do that and goes, yeah, it seems like a good idea. I think I'll do that too. Except what ends up happening, because they set this up as, like, this, oh, it's like freeing them kind of a thing. They have Chief go on this extended walk through fucking Reach, watching a goddamn, like, concert in a park, like, because, you know, you could have that be kind of cool, like, for the first time hearing music kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just dumb. He's just, like, sitting there, like, slack-jawed like a fucking idiot. And it doesn't work. But you can kind of have this moment where it's like, oh, okay, maybe he's not better off with this. Maybe the UNSC were wrong in making this decision, and their soldiers can both be super soldiers and also people still. They don't have to be just machines. Except for Kai, when she takes hers out, she becomes completely useless. She goes from, like, super soldier sniper to sees a couple of people die, which she's definitely seen happen. Like in the first episode, an entire, like, hundreds of people get murdered all around them. This isn't some new thing for them. But now that she has her puck out and the same thing is happening, she just like starts freaking out and becomes completely useless and derails everything. And it's like, oh, okay, no, I guess maybe the UNSC was right then? Oh, who's to say? And the best part about it is that because Kai is like getting her ass kicked at that point, Chief, because he has emotions now, is like, oh, fuck the mission, I'm gonna go save her. Even though everybody's like, hey, Chief, don't do that. We need to not let the aliens get the possible world ending piece of ancient artifact thing that we know nothing about. And Chief just fucks off and doesn't do it anyways. But that doesn't even matter because the other two Spartans who are following orders get their car fucking blown up regardless, and the artifact goes flying off anyways. There's no consequences for anyone's actions ever, and you can cut out massive sections of the story without ever changing a thing. And they should have. Because it's so poorly paced, it's just boring. What else is there? Oh, what's her name? Quan Ha, awful character. Inept, boring, useless, irrational. Like, she's seen her entire family get fucking murdered, and she still doesn't seem to, like, get anything.
Okay.
It's just a badly written character, top to bottom. Not interesting to see. Soren's character starts off as kind of like, you know, like, oh, he fled from the UNSC when he was still like in the middle of the program. That's interesting. He has this backstory where, you know, he says this really good part about how about a week after he escaped, he remembered his father was dead. And then about a week after that, he remembered that he killed his father. So there's like these things that are massive and could be explored as an interesting character, and no, he just gets turned into like a generic kind of gray piratey guy that has no purpose being a Spartan at all. That does not matter to his character at this point. So
What you're telling me is that this show sounds like a first draft of like a concept for a Halo show before they actually.
If somebody,
yeah,
absolutely. This is absolutely the kind of thing that, like, if you're the, you know, producers or the director and your screenwriters come up with this, you'd be like, great, except all this is bad and you need to change it. But that didn't happen, I guess.
You know, it's almost like a character like Master Chief, who is a empty vessel, as you said, for 14-year-olds to, you know, get their murder kicks out. Is fundamentally a flawed character to have be the main character of your fucking show.
Yeah. And like, you can have like the idea of Master Chief being this empty vessel because the UNSC has made him that way, and now his actual character is starting to show through, could be interesting. It's just smeared through so many lenses of bullshit that doesn't need to be there, and it takes so long to get to that part that it's completely unsatisfying when it actually happens.
Yeah, I gotta give it to you, man. It sounds like the biggest flaw of this whole show is fucking their main character.
Yep. I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you this. Let me get a better one of these. They have like 2 pictures on their page here with like the spread of characters. So we have left to right Quan Ha, Dr. Halsey, Soren, and then the other 3 Spartans on the side, all of which with their face showing, except for fucking Master Chief, because nobody gives a shit who he is. The helmet is his identity.
He's like the Joker. He's an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they went and wanted to do like this, oh, but what if he was an actual character thing? Because like, yeah, okay, it's a TV show. You kind of do need a character.
Yeah.
But there's so many better ways they could have done that. The most obvious one to me is to have Quan Ha's character, who is like relatively starry-eyed, not aware of how the world actually works kind of teenager who did grow up on this really shitty planet, but her family made do of it and tried to do the right thing, and have her stay with Chief as like the polar opposite to the straight edge military man kind of thing, and have it kind of work both ways, where you have him sort of coming down from that part as they experience this world together and he now can experience things, and her starting to become a better character, you know, one that begins to understand the world around her and how things are happening and why things are happening for the way they are, and that it isn't all black and white. There's shades of gray here. Your father can both be someone you look up to and kind of a piece of shit at the same time. But no, they just have both of them kind of stay where they are and not have any development happen.
Development's scary, and we have to reserve that for future seasons.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, poor Paramount Plus.
I went ahead and gave it a 1.5 out of 5.
Oof.
Because it's so bad. 4 hours of Master Chief not shooting, of not being the Master Chief.
Can we just call him like Michael Chief when he does that?
As well.
Yes.
John
Oh,
Chief.
yeah. His name's John. I forgot.
Yeah, his name is. But I mean, like, that's kind of the point. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Even, like, people who know it, it's not the point of the character.
I mean, he's got like the most generic name ever because that's not who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what do we call our super, super soldier, badass murder machine? John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with so many of these shows that I find so disappointing, is that they have these worlds that are legitimately interesting in their own right that they just do nothing with. Like the same thing with like the Cowboy Bebop show. Is like, yeah, it had problems, but it's a cool world to see and explore. And then they just don't.
Yeah. What's the point of like world building in the first season when you gotta do that in this finish ups? Yeah.
So I've canceled my Paramount Plus subscription that I foolishly let renew after the free trial initially. So I'll be watching the next episode just to, get my money's worth out of it. But after that, yeah, episode 6 better be a fucking banger or I'm gone.
Just magically solves all your problems.
I don't know. I don't know how it could at this point, but I'll be curious to see him try. I feel like that's part of it too, is that there's like, these are obvious problems, they had to see them, right? I find it hard to believe that there's that level of like fundamental, like making a story level of incompetence when you get to that tier of stuff being made, but it really feels like it.
So while you still have Paramount Plus for like the last little bit of this month, may I recommend the South Park COVID specials?
I will definitely look into that.
Because those are like the only thing.
Into what Paramount Plus actually has to watch.
Oh,
so that's a fair show.
The only things I've seen on Paramount Plus that are worth watching: Clone High and the South Park specials. Granted, that's like a 20-year-old TV show, and those are just like gimmick specials made purely to sell Paramount Plus subscriptions. But that's all I got. My girlfriend's got it. That's all I know about it.
Oh, God. I forgot that their web app is atrocious.
Is it?
Yeah. So it still does that thing where it autoplays previews and trailers when you click on something, and it does it at full volume.
Rough.
So I just went to look up one of the South Park specials, and I clicked on it, and I was met with Cartman fucking screaming in my ears. Speaking of streaming subscriptions, CNN Plus
Oh
is
yeah.
dead. It's really interesting. I wonder if these are all like under the same. They must all be like Warner or something, like something related, because it's all Paramount Plus, CNN Plus, ESPN Plus. It's all the fucking same.
Branding, my dude.
Yeah. We're standing out and finding our place in the market by copying everyone that came before us.
Yes.
So I
Investors
was
like that
curious.
plus.
The short of it is that after, I think it was less than a month, but about a month, CNN Plus, which was to be CNN's exclusive subscription-based streaming platform, is dead.
Yes.
And the numbers behind it are remarkable at how badly it was mismanaged. I was curious to see what other comparable services had for subscribers. So ESPN Plus has what was this, at the end of Q1 2022, so the most recent one.
Yep.
Estimated at its earnings call about 21.3 million subscribers.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, no. I for ESPN, I don't doubt it. ESPN is big.
I don't see
if
it.
You can
dude.
like rewatch actual sports with it. People will pay out the ass.
Okay, go on. I doubt it, but go on. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna doubt this next one more. Actually, they don't break this down super well, so let me pull up a calculator. Paramount Plus,
Yes,
streaming service. Do you want to take a guess? End of Q4 2021. How many subscribers did Paramount Plus have?
My units are going to be in the millions, so
Yep.
I'm going to go with like maybe 50.
50?
Yeah, max.
You're pretty close, actually.
Damn.
So Paramount Plus and Showtime together had 56 million subscribers.
Damn, I'm good.
32.8 of that were
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, and the other 23 or so were Showtime.
Okay.
So these are, even if I'm not a huge fan of the content that they provide or the catalogs that they have compared to like Disney Plus or, excuse me, HBO Max, they are objectively successful and have been operating on their own for a couple of years. You know, we're definitely past the point where there's a question of whether or not these sort of like fringe subscription services are profitable. They are.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, what do you think the maximum number of concurrent viewers, so not total subscribers, but people watching CNN Plus at the same time? That is a number that we have readily available. Total number of people watching CNN Plus at the same time.
20,000.
No.
Go on.
Fewer than 10,000. Less than 5 digits.
Yo.
Do you want to take a guess at how much money CNN spent to start this up?
Too much.
$300 million.
That's more than I'll see in my lifetime.
Hmm?
What the
$300 million for less than 10,000. Linus Tech Tips has their own streaming subscription service, Floatplane. Floatplane has more than 20,000, and CNN couldn't do that.
Well, okay. We were talking about this before the show, so I'm going to say this for the audience.
Yeah.
Who is CNN Plus for?
That is a good question.
Those who watch CNN constantly are just going to watch CNN because it's 24/7. Does not shut off. What content would be exclusive to CNN Plus, other than maybe like a documentary here and there, that you cannot just support it with HBO Max?
Yep. So I'm curious now. CNN had an article here, but I'm wondering what was their actual goal?
Money.
Well, yeah, but like the step before that. So they spend money do thing, make money. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's step two? What is step two?
Okay, here's a big question. Did it have
Apparently, they
ads?
made shows.
Oh,
No. So that is the big thing here.
okay.
Is that, and that was apparently, they're talking about this in their article. That was their attempt to differentiate themselves from ABC, NBC, and CBS, who all have their own streaming platforms. Is that their streaming platforms have subscription tiers for ad-free content, but are base level free and ad supported. So the idea with CNN is that they would have it be subscription only, but with more content because of that and better content.
I don't see the logic there, but go on.
This is great. This is in CNN Business, their own article about CNN Plus is here, what to expect, on their own goddamn website. They have a quote here from Julia Alexander, senior strategy analyst for Parrot Analytics, a firm that advises media companies. Quote, news is addictive, it's habit forming, but it's a hard sell for a standalone subscription service.
Yeah. Like, unless it was like a documentary type streaming service, like maybe Nebula or something like that.
Yep.
You know, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of CNN. Like, I am not exactly the biggest fan of Fox News because they're pretty political, profiteering networks.
Yep.
So who, besides like a hardcore CNN fan, is going to watch a whole bunch of advertisements directed to them by, you know, political investors in a certain kind of like company?
Yep. So looking at some of the specific shows that they're talking about here, they say nearly a dozen new weekly programs. So that seems to be the key thing, is that they are making new content that is only available on CNN Plus with a subscription, headlining particular existing on-air personalities. So they have stuff like The Don Lemon Show, Jake Tapper's Book Club. They
Okay.
apparently set up a dedicated team for covering breaking news and producing special reports, including many of the same correspondents and analysts that normally appeared on CNN.
Ooh, is Tucker Carlson going to get his own show on CNN Plus?
Probably not. He actually has a bunch of stuff on whatever Fox's equivalent is.
Doesn't he have like a whole show that's like just nothing but conspiracy theories?
He has. I wouldn't be surprised. I know he has multiple of his own shows on whatever the Fox thing is.
I like that he's trying to go into Alex Jones's territory with his own InfoWars.
Oh, I'll say this is weird. So, I'm just gonna read through this.
Okay.
According to this article, they have a daily CNN Plus schedule broken down by hour.
Okay.
So I would wonder, presumably this is live produced content still, which is genuinely like unique. That would be a unique angle that they could take to sell their product. Is you can watch this stuff on repeat later, but it's made live, broadcast live for you to watch that day that it's happening. That would allow them to be like more reactive to things that are actually happening in the world, you know?
You mean like a 24-hour news channel?
Yeah, but being subsidized differently, you know? Because it is ad-free, you don't have to worry about catering to advertisers. If you're, you know, what is this? Wolf Blitzer or Chris Wallace, you can talk about whatever the fuck you want. You can insult and highlight stories from whoever, regardless of if they give you money on some other area.
So it's NPR, but CNN.
Yeah, NPR, but filmed and for a subscription. So, like, that is not the worst idea.
I like it. I honestly do.
It have cost them $300 million to start doing that, though.
Well, here's the problem. Like, CNN is already a lot of commentary as it is because you can't fill up a fucking 24-hour news day with just news. It's impossible.
Yeah. And
so,
look, I'll go through the schedule here a bit, but that is absolutely what they're doing.
So CNN always had to fluff it with commentary, same as Fox News. All that is just political commentary. Fuck off. Fuck off anybody that believes otherwise. Not fucking journalism.
Yep.
So you're asking people to pay for uncensored political commentary, which is
Yes.
interesting. That's an interesting
Closer
model.
to journalism.
Closer, yes.
Yeah. So the rest of their daily lineup here they have a morning headline show. They have more of a traditional morning news show at the start.
Hmm.
Then they go into the big picture with Sarah Sidner. No idea who that is. Reliable Sources Daily. The Source with Casey Hunt. The Global Brief with Bianca Nobilio. Who's Talking to Chris Wallace. And The Newscast with Wolf Blitzer.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of that you can just tell from the titles is just political talk, you know?
Yeah. Well, like here's
But, like, that could be okay. I mean, we've seen now that it's not. But in concept, I don't think this was a wrong sell to try.
yeah.
Just execution was bad. Holy shit, it is raining hard out.
Yeah,
God
storm's
damn.
here. Michigan's got a big storm this year. Well, today.
Yeah, it just hit here. And it was like dead still, and now I'm surprised you can't hear that. It's hitting my window so hard.
Is it going north or is it going south? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Damn, it's still probably coming my way then.
Yeah.
Yes, there's actual news right there.
Yeah.
Now here's some commentary. I don't understand why anybody would pay for commentary unless I don't know.
Okay, so here's the real kicker.
Yes.
Is that this is probably a good idea to like people like you and me. It's like, oh yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I guarantee you CNN's not the first people to think of this.
Yeah.
And if you actually look like on YouTube and Twitch, 100% people are already doing this for free.
We're doing it for free.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean more like the, 12-hour daily broadcast kind of thing. They've already got, what the fuck is his name? There's one specific guy on Twitch that's huge. That is basically this.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I can't remember his name.
This is something that old media, like not really old media, but big money in media moves very slowly compared to like you and I. Because all we need to do is just like hook up our just dinky little setups and we can just start broadcasting like we are right now.
Yeah.
Where they need to do the contracts and whatnot. So it makes sense that they're already fucking behind on this model.
Yep. The big thing that they have that could have sold it, particularly in the current climate, is that they have the resources to be like on the ground in Ukraine every day reporting about things, and not just Ukraine. That's just the current example. They can be wherever the news is actually happening and giving you up to the minute reporting of what is actually happening in those places.
That I just want to highlight.
That's something that we can't do, but unfortunately for them, it's something they're already doing for basically for free on CNN.
Yeah. The fact that they couldn't make a news streaming service like this work in the middle of a goddamn war kind of frightens me.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're not going to like withhold. It would be okay for all of the faults that CNN has. Generally, as journalists, they're fairly ethically responsible.
Fairly, yes.
And it would not be ethically responsible to withhold news and updates about an evolving war that was ongoing. So they just, right from the bat, they just cannibalized their own revenue stream by having integrity.
Damn integrity.
Yeah. Like CNN deserves a bunch of shit. But they do generally produce good televised news. So
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, CNN Plus is fucking dead, and I can actually say that.
So proud of them. I don't know. There's a reason why Tucker Carlson's doing conspiracy theories in his own InfoWars-esque show on the streaming service, because that's sensational and that gets clicks. Whereas,
and you don't have to be factual.
Yeah, you don't. Like,
It's probably better if you're not, so you can try and peddle the, oh, it's actually an entertainment product line.
of course. So it's just, I don't know. They didn't have a unique selling proposition for this.
Nope.
Other than, here our commentary, which you can already get for free. We can just swear now if we wanted to, but we probably won't because we were trying to be professional.
I'm pretty sure I sent you some links about this before, but talking about Tucker Carlson there sort of like jogged my memory.
Yo.
We gotta talk about InfoWars a bit and Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah, the new developments on that.
Okay, so
The war on
thing.
InfoWars.
Yeah, big thing that happened is that it looks like this was April 18th. The far right wing website InfoWars filed for voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection.
Yay.
So, from what I understand, that basically means that they hold debts that they are claiming they do not have the means to pay off.
Yes.
Whether or not that is successful or is approved remains to be seen. That is, we are declaring bankruptcy. Whether or not they are actually bankrupt is another question. And some recent updates seem that other people are questioning that too, which is very nice to see. But it is not an unheard of tactic for companies to use declarations of bankruptcy as means to insulate their own assets. Notably, in the Purdue Pharma case, I believe it was. I might have the specific companies wrong that it relates to, but it was absolutely in relation to the current lawsuits that are ongoing over the opioid crisis. One of the companies involved moved pretty much all of their liquid assets to a company of a different name and then filed for bankruptcy with the original company, meaning that the individuals who had been harmed, who had sued that company for the harm that had been done to them, it's getting blood from a stone, right?
Yeah.
Legally, that company no longer has assets, even though they may or may not have been legitimately moved out of that company. It seems to me like Alex Jones is trying to do a similar thing with this.
He learned from the best.
Yeah. Part of the filing, InfoWars listed its estimated assets in the range of $0 to $50,000 and estimated liabilities in the range of $1 million to $10 million. Which seems immediately suspicious given how much like business they've clearly been doing and how much personal wealth Jones himself has. But a couple of notable things from this. Part of his failure to appear in court recently, he was charged with compounding penalties for not appearing for subpoena. And as part of the most recent thing, Jones personally has been ordered by the court to pay to the court $1 million as part of the first group of these penalties. And that happened after the declaration of bankruptcy. So, big thing that says is that the judge involved in this doesn't give a shit. She's like, yeah, go ahead. We're still going to go through the case. You have these penalties, pay up. So that's good. Second thing here is that apparently the Justice Department has been looking into it now too, and whether it was legitimately filed for bankruptcy.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's a bad time to be an Alex Jones right now.
Mm-hmm. Though, to be fair, he has very much brought it on himself.
I mean...
Justice Department Office of the U.S. Trustee told Judge Christopher Lopez the structure of Jones' filing, quote, may demonstrate these cases are an abuse of the bankruptcy system. The government submission questioned why Jones had not filed for personal bankruptcy and why another business he controls, Free Speech Systems, was not included in the filings earlier this week. Quote, why did Alex Jones or FSS file for why didn't Alex Jones or FSS file for bankruptcy relief when debtors did? They are both defendants in the same litigation as debtors, and all of them have been found liable in those cases. It appears that Jones intends to leverage the bankruptcy filings of his holding companies to extend the automatic stays of pending litigation against debtors to him and FSS, while he maintains full control of SSS and its assets going forward. Thus, this motion seems to be just the first step for debtors to carry out Jones and FSS's scheme to avoid the burdens of bankruptcy while reaping its benefits.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Initially, it was very much like an eye-rolling, come on kind of thing, but it is very good to see the Justice Department hitting back and being just like, yeah, no, that's not how that works.
I love our Justice Department coming like together to just like hit a lot of this bullshit for like the conspiracy theory crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying I love all of our Justice Department.
They've been doing some good stuff
Yeah.
lately. I was joking, talking about people about this on Reddit, and I mentioned something along the lines of, we'll see how it goes, but if his accountants are the same quality as his lawyers, I think the Justice Department's going to do okay. So in a similar vein, though, I actually saw this week that the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, I believe that's what that stands for, has put in multiple filings against a large number of companies that were taking anti-union action.
Yeah, wasn't Nintendo part of that?
Yeah, there's like 3 big ones. Nintendo was the first one, where they apparently fired a contractor after speaking out at questioning Nintendo's anti-union stance.
Yeah.
He was fired shortly after that, so suits been filed questioning whether that was legitimate. Second big one was a suit filed on behalf of Ravensoft, who is a subsidiary of Activision Blizzard, that started off a big push within Activision Blizzard to try and unionize, and were pretty clearly retaliated against.
Mm-hmm.
Suit was filed with them, and let me see if I can find out some details. I don't remember if it was concluded or not. So the NLRB ruled that Ravensoft can vote for recognition as a union. And this was notable because Activision Blizzard themselves announced some pretty sweeping changes to their internal structure that met a large number of the requests that were being made, but explicitly excluded Ravensoft from that. And now we can see why, and it's because they're just going full steam ahead for like actual union status.
Nice.
Which is very nice. And the third one was NLRB action taken in counter to Starbucks firing a number of employees who were pushing for a union within their stores. So a lot of good stuff going on there.
Unions are cool.
Unions are very cool.
Did I ever tell you like
talk to your coworkers about your pay?
Oh, dude. Okay, I've got a story. Did I ever tell you about like the anti-union propaganda they used to have at the grocery store I worked at?
No.
Oh yeah, dude. There was like straight up anti-union propaganda day one, where they would say like unions just want to steal your paycheck and give that money to the wrong people. They're money laundering schemes, that kind of bullshit. And they made us watch this day one training video stuff about how unions will strong arm you. They'll try to steal your identity, that kind of bullshit. And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm a smart boy. I'm smart enough to know this is bullshit propaganda stuff. And there was recently this terrible thing that happened at the grocery store I used to work at. It's my local grocery store, so I'm very aware of all the things that go on there because I visit it like once a week. Where an employee was denied a raise, so they kind of they were a little higher management. Then they leaked out everybody's individual pay rate to all the workers there, and a whole bunch of people realized they weren't making the same amount of money for the same amount of work. It was kind of beautiful. I think I lost him. The storm got him.
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
I was just looking up a bit of breaking news here.
what's up?
Good news.
Mm.
Statistically, at this point, Emmanuel Macron has been declared the victor in France's election,
Yo!
winning 59-41 over Marine Le Pen, the first French president to be re-elected in over 20 years.
That's so funny that the French don't re-elect their presidents often.
Yeah. So it's not official yet. He is projected to have won, and I was seeing talk that he was going to the Eiffel Tower to give a victory speech, kind of thing.
Badass. I like Macron.
Oh God, no! This is in French. Google help. There we go. So 72% of the vote is in currently.
Damn. Yeah, there's no coming back from that.
No. I'll be curious to see where the numbers actually end up. Marine Le Pen had a bit of a scandal come out this last week where it turned out that, or I guess maybe it was just confirmed again, that she had taken substantial loans from Russia in order to finance her political campaigns.
Did they try causing an insurrection?
Not suspicious at all. And she just also happens to want to leave NATO. There's no connection, I promise.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, she has lost, it seems.
What the fuck is Russia's problem, man? I mean, I know what their problem is. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just,
It's... Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting video put out by Vox this week talking about the Z symbol that's been going around.
Yo.
Where it started from and what it actually means.
Yeah, go on. Please tell me more.
So the gist of it is that it has started from a propaganda push that happened a long time ago, where because in the Russian alphabet, they don't really have the Z character. They have the same sound, but it's spelled differently.
Yeah.
As part of a propaganda push, they're what they're pushing out had it translated into more of like an anglicized version with the Z's and the V's spelled out as we would in English. So that is where they come from in the Russian tongue, is it is part of an established propaganda technique to make it more familiar to non-Russian speaking people. Even if you can't understand what it is, the Cyrillic is obscured more.
Okay.
In relation to what was happening in Ukraine, at the start of the war, people were seeing the Russian military vehicles, and they all had in big white letters Z, V, O, and a couple other different symbols on them. But Z and V were the predominant ones that were being seen because these were the vehicles that were at the hotspots, so to speak, of the fighting that was going on. We still don't 100% know what was going on with that, but it seems to be that they were just being used as placeholder symbols for coordination efforts. All the Z vehicles go to the north, all the V vehicles go to the south, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's not like it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just something quickly done in order to discern which units are supposed to go to which places and for coordination.
Yeah.
But as the pictures of these vehicles were starting to be distributed, people were all seeing these Z's written on them, and it came up with the question of what does it mean? And there wasn't a readily available answer. It started to be used as a generic symbol of support for those Russian soldiers, particularly the Z. And a large part of it is due to the way Russia's propaganda machine works, where they have a very scattershot, throw everything out there and see what sticks kind of approach to it. In this case, the Z thing was drumming up pro-Russia sentiment among their own people, so they leaned into it and they went with it. And there's been a number of different explanations for what it means, but none of it really matters so much as it works.
It just
and
works.
It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
It is literally a meme, It is something that doesn't really have a starting point other than in the collective conscience of the people. And they just ran with it.
Why not?
Yeah, it works. So, past that, it was then, of course, clearly leaned into with the ongoing propaganda campaigns that they have with the take all of the children from the cancer hospice and have them stand out in the snow in a Z shape kind of bullshit. The other part of it is a large tie, or an attempt to try and tie the Russian fighting in Ukraine to World War II. We've seen and talked about it plenty, how it's they're going to Ukraine to stop the Nazis.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence. It is specifically related to the regular Russian military propaganda that they put out that is very reminiscent of when they were legitimately doing that in World War II and did so successfully. They marched out of Russia to stop the Nazis. So they use a lot of that common iconography in order to just change who the Nazis are. It's not the Germans this time, it's the Ukrainians. Regardless of, it has no basis in truth, but they don't care because it's propaganda.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be true, it just needs to work. Yeah, that's where it comes from. It's just been that connection of a symbol that was used for some purpose, not for that was just spread around a lot, and people were like, hey, what is this? And eventually people just picked it up as yeah, Z, we support Russia troops. And then everybody gets to go oh, okay, so you put a Z on, you're an asshole. Good to know.
Tonight on Putin Ball Z.
I'll say it's been really good seeing very small pockets of it popping up in places and the person doing it just getting completely shit on.
Good.
So one of the more notable initial ones was it was a Russian athlete who got third place in a competition, and the first place was a Ukrainian, and he had used white reflective athletic tape and taped a Z to the front of his white shirt.
Oh no.
It was kind of hard to see, but also when you looked for it, clearly there.
Yeah.
He has since received a long-term ban from that sport. Would have imagined.
Ooh.
One of the other ones was somebody that taped a Z in the back window of their car, and people came around later and smashed out all the windows and slashed the tires of the car. Whether or not that was, it's all on the internet, so who knows how much that is actually true. We have pictures of it, but could have just been someone beating the shit out of their own car for clout, or someone could have maliciously done it to someone else's might knowing that someone might vandalize it after.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that's been happening. Z bad.
Z
Russia
bad. Russia very bad. Russia government pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Was this day 45 3-day war?
Yeah. So, what is it? Russia has is it called Victory Day? Yeah. So Russia has a Victory Day every year on May 8th. And every Victory Day, they have huge military parades in celebration of their victory over the Nazis in World War II. Apparently, they are already making plans to hold a Victory Day related to the war in Ukraine, even though they are nowhere near victory. and
But
it's getting closer and closer, and it's like this constant question of just like, you're really just gonna do it anyways?
I
And
love
it
how
sure seems like it.
Russia is like constantly patting itself on the back for fighting Nazis when
Hmm.
they weren't the ones that kicked the Nazis' asses like we did. They just fought the Nazis. So,
I wouldn't want to minimize it quite that much. They did do like there's a reason that like Stalingrad is so memorialized at this point because it was brutal fighting on both sides.
you're right. I was just doing it for like the sake of a
But
joke.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean though. Like as a meme, yeah, but like seriously, what was the like literal casualties in the millions? You know,
Stalingrad, yeah.
it is a scale that we have not seen. So there's a reason that it turned into the massive celebration of Russian military strength that it has.
Yeah.
They have what is it that I think the kids would say that Russia has fallen off since. I believe that's still relevant.
Russia is currently experiencing some big low testosterone energy.
L plus ratio plus you peaked in 1945.
Oh, Jesus. I love it. Any other updates about Russia and Ukraine at the moment? Or are we still just like it's a shit show still?
It's still going on. The
Yeah.
big news was that there was a Ukrainian airstrike on a pretty significant Russian command area,
Mm,
resulting in the casualty of at least two generals and 50 senior officers.
damn.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's just more of these like Turkish drone strikes just working way better than people anticipated them to at the start. Um, yeah, that was like the big one. It's still very much a back and forth though at the borders. So running close on time here, but we do need to talk about Disney, good old Disney World,
Didn't they?
as part of Florida's is it Don't Say Gay bills that they're passing.
I mean, that's what we all call it. I'm not sure if that's the
Yeah,
proper
they
name.
don't, of course.
Yeah.
It's been great seeing the fallout from it. It is the fallout is not at all reciprocal to the harm that it's causing in the first place. I'll say that up front.
Yeah.
The actual bills still need to be stricken down as the clearly unconstitutional pieces of legislation that they are. But there has been some creativity in retribution that has been good to see people still, sort of fighting the good fight against it.
Yeah.
Disney in particular spoke out against it, I guess, which kicked off this petty feud from DeSantis. Not that DeSantis would ever be petty. Where Disney's independent special district status has been revoked. It starts to go into effect June 1st, July 1st, June 1st, and takes full effect next year, June 1st,
Okay.
as they change over a whole number of things. And it's a year-long period because it's pretty substantial. Disney is a big fucking place. 25,000 acres, almost 40 square miles, which is why it was given the special district status in the first place, because it is big. And there is the agreement that in exchange for special tax statuses, Disney would operate basically independently. It taxes itself and the people who live there in order to maintain a number of public services, including medical and fire and security in that area.
Mm-hmm.
With that special district status revoked, the immediate fact is that now the counties impacted by that will have to provide those services themselves. Disney no longer has to, which is a huge cost. On top of that, according to the Florida Senate's own financial impact analysis of the bill, they state that when a county takes over a special district, it shall also assume all indebtedness of the pre-existing special district, which in this case is about $1 billion in debt.
Oh no.
Adding on, so ignoring that, just with the taxes that Disney was basically collecting from itself to run those medical and emergency services in their own property, just that now have to be provided by the public means that those homeowners in that area are looking at a 20% property tax increase in the next year to pay for that.
Oh boy.
On top of that, state of Florida is now assuming all of Disney's debt. Basically, not like all of Disney's debt, but debt as it relates to that special district. So it really feels like, you know, they're shooting themselves in the foot here.
A little, but you know, the last thing I would ever say about Florida is that they aren't aware of their actions or anything like that, or what they might end up doing with some of their hasty legislation that they're doing in an attempt to keep up appearances for voters.
So the major downside of this special district being dissolved for Disney is that in order to expand their own property and conduct renovations and the like, they'll now have to go through the process of getting permissions for that through the local governments. They won't be able to just do it themselves. But I feel like for them, if they're able to eject $1 billion in debt to do that, I think they'll be okay.
Maybe.
That's about it. I've got one last bit here about Shanghai's COVID lockdown stuff. It is not been great for those living there. Reports of people not getting enough food or any food or food of edible quality because they can't leave their homes, so they have to have stuff brought to them. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into it, but it looks really not good. But it's very much still something that's developing, particularly with the update that's happening today. There's a lot of stuff that kind of has to be inferred because there hasn't been a ton of official statements on it yet. But the gist of it is that there have been substantial numbers of these green barriers erected outside homes of people who are being forced to quarantine, or residences. So not just, you know, a lot of apartment buildings and the like. So if someone in your building has COVID and is being refused to leave, no one in that building is allowed to leave.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. So not a lot has been officially said on it, but if you can see there's been a lot of people posting on social media how this is clearly a widespread thing that's going on.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else we have for today?
I don't believe so. That's all I have, at least.
Damn, that was a really packed episode.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's what happens when you skip a week. Well, in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. Ryan, and I've been a Schmo.
I'm Cairo, and I've been a Schmo.
And this has been the Two Schmoes Show, baby. Russia, buy us out finally. Come on.